After we found the voodoo doll, my mom did some research and we found out that someone was basically trying to do evil to me and harm me. I appreciate you counting me in. I personally, I don't want to be voodooed, but thank you. Thankfully though, we had some cameras in the house, so we were about to see who was behind this. This is the best part. We checked the cameras, and the 3 people that I saw walk out of my room, they were strangers. My parents didn't invite them, they didn't know them. So what my dad did was he screenshotted the footage and then he posted it on Facebook and he was like, does anyone know who this is? So we ended up finding them, contacting them, whatever. And we found out they work for this company that does witch stuff. And someone was paying them to do all of this witchery stuff on me. No, I'm fine. What about you? So we asked them, what is behind all of this? What magic are you trying to do?
This is why you should always keep pictures of your parents. A little girl named Olivia who lived a very quiet life decided to check her homework assignments that were posted online. The teacher posted that they needed to write down their favorite memory with their family as well as bring a photograph. Olivia then writes about how her and her mom play dolls every night in the basement before bed and that she has a lot of fun doing so. She finishes her paragraph and then looks in her dad's drawer for a photograph of mom. She only found pictures of her mom from high school but decided to use it anyway. Olivia goes to bed and wakes up the next morning. Once she arrives at school, the teacher then says, let's start presenting our project. Then the teacher called Olivia's name to present. Olivia then begins to read about how her and her mom play dolls every night and then pulls out the photograph. As soon as Olivia pulled out the photograph, her teacher's face goes numb. She then asks Olivia if she can take a
911, what's your emergency?
Yeah, so I need a cleanup service and a doctor or whatever.
Sir, are you injured?
I think so, but I can't really tell what's left.
What's left of what?
My wife was in the bathroom, so I figured I'd just go in the sink, and I slipped on my own piss, caught my dong in the sinkhole. I tried to pull myself up and hit the dang switch and got the dispose out turned on.
Wait, what?
I just ground up my own dick.
Are you serious?
I just ground up my own dick.
Oh my God.
The disposal has disposed my dick all over the walls.
Sir, help is on the way.
Extremely creepy story time on how my aunt passed away. So a little background information. About 5 years ago, my aunt had gotten pregnant. It was really weird because a few months before she got pregnant, the doctor told her that she would never be able to have kids. And her husband had been trying for years. Well, I think like 2 weeks after the baby was born, it had passed away. And I don't really know why. For some reason, my mom won't tell me. Which is weird, but anyways, after that, my aunt just felt like a lot of things weren't going the way that she wanted them to in her life. So she decided to get closer with God. Well, every Sunday night, we go to my grandparents' house for a family dinner. And while we were there, my aunt starts going on this whole rampage. She said that God's not giving her the answers that she needs, and I don't really know what she means by answers. So my grandparents kick her out because she's acting like a psycho. Well, the same night...
Storytime. So recently in my area, there have been a few burglaries happening. The weird thing about it is that the person that was doing them was doing this really weird thing where they were putting bricks in people's washing machines after they've robbed them. Anyway, a couple of nights ago, the police actually found the person that was doing these robberies dead in an alleyway. They didn't actually have his name until they found him dead, and they discovered that his name was Cal. Anyway, this has made a lot of my neighbours happy because, well, washing machines live longer with Cal gone.
Here's a story time of how my brothers died. A lot of you have been asking, and I kind of avoided the subject because I always thought it was my fault. But I'll just tell you guys a story regardless. So at the time, my dad took us to the lake, and he threw down a stick in the water, and he was like, "Don't toss the stick." And my dad was very abusive and did a lot of drugs at the time, so we left. And same with my stepmom. They both left. And they were doing their drugs. I was like, let's play a game. So we went into the water, and the game was that you walk back.
Story time of how I caught my teacher and my best friend doing the dirty. So everything was fine up until the middle of the year when she started acting really strange, and so did he. So at the time, I was 13 and she was 14. And I'm pretty sure my teacher was in his mid-20s or 30s. So basically, she's the type of girl who literally hates school and would do anything to get out of class. Then I noticed her getting early to class and not leaving until everybody else left. Then I started paying a little more attention, and he would always walk by her desk and slip her notes and candy and just weird.
So when I was a kid, there was this guy who would always call me stupid and try to make fun of me in front of everyone. So this guy actually owned a barber shop, and as a kid on the weekends, I'd always walk downtown and pass his barber shop, and this guy always kept the windows open. So whenever I walked past the barber shop, I'd always hear him yell, "Hey guys, look, it's the stupidest kid in town." So I would never say anything back, but he'd always call me inside his barbershop so he can show all the customers just how stupid he thought I was. Once I was in his barbershop, he'd take $1 and put it in his right hand, and then he'd put 50 cents in his left hand, and he'd ask me to choose which one I wanted, and I would always pick the 50 cents. So right when I would choose the 50 cents, he'd burst into laughter and turn to his customers and go, "See, I told you this kid's the stupidest kid I ever met." So anyway, one time I was walking out, and one of the customers went, "How come you chose the 50 cents and not the $1?" So I turned to the guy and say, "The moment I pick the $1, the game's going to be over."
So I literally thought people were joking when they were talking about stepsisters getting with their stepbrothers. Turns out it's not a joke, and I just found out that my boyfriend cheated on me with his stepsister. When I was a freshman in high school, I got into a lot of trouble and ended up getting my phone taken away for 6 months and had no social media for a year. My parents literally didn't allow me to have Snapchat until the summer before my senior year. But I was allowed to have an Instagram, so the moment that I was allowed to have my socials back, I made an update on my story. And within a few hours, a boy that I had been talking to before I got my phone taken away swiped up. We started messaging,
So I walk in on my cousin and my boyfriend doing the dirty on her couch. They quickly get up from the couch and get dressed. Of course, by that time, I'm in hysterics. I'm crying and yelling. My boyfriend instantly got on his knees and begged me for forgiveness. I went up to my cousin and I punched her right in the face. She wasn't expecting that. And I said, "Well, this is the guy that you've been dating, isn't it?" She said yes, and that she was just trying to find the best way to tell me. And so she just thought the best way to tell me was to get me to walk in on her and him doing the dirty. I punched her again. My boyfriend came to her rescue though. Instantly went into hero mode, which made me even angrier, so I punched him too. I stormed out of her house and went back to my house. Well, I told my parents everything. And my dad went over to my uncle's house, my cousin's dad, and he told him everything. She was about to turn 19, so he took away her phone and her car. And I get a phone call from my
story time about when my mom caught me doing it with my best friend.
I was 16 at the time, and there was this new boy that moved in across the street from us. He was super cute, and I noticed him right away. My parents were super strict. I wasn't allowed to have a boyfriend or even any guy friends, and I knew right away that I wanted to at least become this guy's friend because he was so cute. So one day I told my mom, "Hey, why don't we take cookies or something to welcome the new neighbors in town?" And my mom was like, "That's a great idea." So we end up going over and we meet them. They're really nice. And the cute boy comes downstairs and he tells his mom he's going to go to Bible study. Well, when we get home, I tell my mom, "Hey, you know what? Maybe I should join a Bible study group too." And my mom was like, "Great idea." She even told me to go ask him about it since he had mentioned it. One day he's mowing the lawn, so I decided to go talk to him and ask him about the Bible study group. He actually ended up taking me there that same day and we had a fun class. Over the next few weeks, we became really, really good friends. Best friends. We told each other everything, but there was always attraction between.
Story time of how I caught my teacher and my best friend doing the dirty. So everything was fine up until the middle of the year when she started acting really strange, and so did he. So at the time, I was 13 and she was 14. And I'm pretty sure my teacher was in his mid-20s or 30s. So basically, she's the type of girl who literally hates school and would do anything to get out of class. Then I noticed her getting early to class and not leaving until everybody else left. Then I started paying a little more attention, and he would always walk by her desk and slip her notes and candy and just weird stuff, and it was really, really strange to me. He also moved to her desk right next to his, which his was all the way in the back left corner of the classroom. He would also always make jokes with her, which I didn't really understand until I found out they were sleeping together. So on Friday, my mom messaged her parents asking if they could pick me up Monday because my parents were going out of town that weekend and I hated riding the bus. Well, I'm guessing she didn't know that I was going home with her Monday. So that Monday, I got into her mom's car and I asked her mom where she was. Her mom said that she was failing math in her story time of how my best friend got so weirdly obsessed with me that she even plotted to kill my boyfriend. So at the time, me and this girl, let's just call her Olivia, had only been friends for about 2 years. I mean, we really did everything together. We were with each other 24/7, and I mean, we were pretty good friends. But the only thing about our friendship is she did not like when I had other friends. I mean, she didn't have any other friends herself, but literally she would joke around about strangling my other friends because she didn't like when I gave my attention to anyone else. But honestly, I just thought of it as a joke. And then I started dating this guy, let's just name him Jacob. He was probably the sweetest guy I had ever.
Last week, my 6-year-old son comes to me and says, Daddy, I saw Mommy in bed with the neighbor when you were at work. So instead of confronting her when I found out, I thought of a plan to really fuck her. So we invited all of her family over for Christmas dinner, and while we were eating, I said, "Hey, Tommy," which is our son, "how about you tell everyone what you told me a couple days ago?" Everyone thinks he's gonna sing a song or tell a poem, but he goes, "Oh, I saw Mommy bring home the neighbor."